What's up, everyone? Today we're going to be talking about counterintuitive stories that may just help you in terms of discovering some qualitative aspects to business and achieving goals that might help you out. So the first story is about Samuel Langley. Now, so many people have all the excuses in the book about why a business does not succeed. Some of the biggest ones are bad market conditions, lack of money, you know, tough people, no connections. And guess what? Samuel Langley had all of these things. Money was no problem. It was not an obstacle. He was given $50,000 by the War Department to figure out this flying machine and get it working. And he had all the connections in the world, everything. He had credentials, experience, he went to fancy schools. And guess what? Do you know who he is today? No. Why? Because he failed. He was unable to come up with this flying machine. And at the very same time he was trying to come up with one, there were these people, they were called the Wright brothers, I'm sure you've heard of them. They eventually came up with the airplane. And guess what? They had all the things that Langley did not. They had barely any money, no connections, no education, on and on and on. And how is this the case? How could this possibly occur? Well, basically, what happened here was that Langley, or at least that's what Simon Sinek says in his book, Start With Why. It's a very interesting book. He says that the reason why Langley failed and the Wright brothers succeeded, and why so many companies, although they seem to be much at an advantage in almost every way, and he gives a lot of tech examples like Gateway with the computers and MP3 players versus Apple. And he says that despite all these advantages or seeming advantages, the reason for their failure was the essential reason why they were doing it. See, Langley was doing it according to Sinek. Who knows if it's actually true, but he was doing it because he wanted the fame, the fortune, the glamour, the reputation, the honors, whereas the Wright brothers were able to inspire people, get people in their town to help them, and just evoke so much team effort and emotions because they were doing it. Their why came from not money, not reputation, something that was more at home with the heart, something that could evoke and grab and inspire more people. And that was really just that they wanted to do something that has never been done. They wanted to create a working flying machine, and they did. And now we have airplanes and like freaking, Southwest Airlines, Virgin Airlines, who have like fleets of crafts that fly people across the world every single day. And so that's very interesting. The second story, this one's very interesting too. You have two comparison groups. One group has all the money in the world. Again, they have everything that money can get you, and they had the best team, the best group of people ever, and everything was at play. And their mission was to come up with a online internet encyclopedia. And they had all these things available to them. Whereas another group, another team of people, they had none of this. And in fact, their whole model was that we're doing this for fun, and we're going to do this for free. We aren't paid to do this. And on top of that, we're going to give it to free to everyone who views it, and anyone else out there on the internet who wants to contribute can contribute out of their own time because of their own interest in order to create this free online encyclopedia. Now, guess who won? This is pretty obvious. Wikipedia won. And here's the thing. If you had quizzed any academician or expert or business strategist or whatever have you, and you asked them, and you put these two study groups before the actual result occurred and Wikipedia won, guess who you would think would win this thing? Well, yeah, you would think that the first group would win. Most people would think that Microsoft, with all that money, all those experts, would win. And so this story comes from another book by Daniel Pink. His book is called drive the surprising truth to what motivates us. And this is more about how what you choose to incentivize your employees is important. And one of the big points he makes is that for very simplistic manual labor or anything that's very carrot and stick, incentives work really well. So if you tell someone, hey, I will give you an extra $100 by the end of today if you can reach this sales goal, or if you can double your output for the amount of, I don't know, houses you cleaned. That sort of straightforward method works very well. But then when you do a lot of experiments and studies and tests and you see what happens if you take those same incentives and you test them for creative type work, things that require thinking outside of the box and coming up with new innovative solutions, what you find is that the people who have gotten the most incentives, who get the biggest carrot on the stick, they take the longest to find their goal or anything innovative. And he did a lot of tests to make sure this was right. He made sure to control for different economic conditions, different cultural conditions. He thought maybe, okay, it happens like this in the USA, but what about in third world countries? What about in India? Will the same thing apply when the standard of living is much lower? And the same thing occurred. And his whole point was, in companies like Google, it requires a lot of innovation and creativity and thinking outside of the box, and giving too much straightforward incentives in terms of pay, in terms of dangling the carrot in the stick, it actually holds them back because it keeps your focus on the target, which is oftentimes the money or some concrete visual end goal, which prevents you from thinking outside of the box. And obviously, again, here's the thing, there's more examples out there than just this. I mean, just think about it. There's Apple, there's again Google versus Bing, Google, and then YouTube versus Medicafe, on and on and on. And so there is something interesting going on, and it's very inspiring. So that's it. Those are the two books I'll be talking about today: Drive, the Surprising Truth to What Motivates Us, and Start With Why by Simon Sinek. I think both of these books are very important, and just the title alone, Start With Why, it's an important thing any human should really think about, because I've made a lot of analogies and told a lot of stories about this in my previous videos. But the whole idea is, if you can barrel down and drill down to your why, you may be able to save your whole life or cut out a lot of wasted time. Because if you go this convoluted route, oh, I want to make $100 million, and I want to make $100 million because I want to go on vacation for the rest of my life and live on an island. Well, rather than slaving away for half of your life or maybe 60 years of your life to get to that amount, you realize early on that since this is really your end goal, you realize that, okay, the actual cost of doing that is much less than that, and I don't need to put so much pain and effort and hatred to doing a job you don't like to get to an end goal that you may be too old to even enjoy. And then even if you drill down even more, you drill down to the true why. Perhaps it's just, I want to be happy, and I think that's what will bring me happiness. When in reality, that's probably not going to bring you happiness. You're probably going to get bored after maybe a week, a month, a couple years, 5 years, sitting on a beach doing nothing. So that can save a lot of time, and the book I recommend for that is The How of Happiness, because it really goes down to a scientific level what you can possibly want and what will actually bring long-term happiness in terms of what you should pursue. That's all I gotta say. As always, like and subscribe. Thanks so much for watching. I will see you in my next video. Peace.